Hey everybody, it's your girl Kiki here. So it is Thursday and I said I would be back to let you know how the 3-day diet went. But before we get into that, we have a lot going on here. So I want to just let you know what we have going on and then I will give you all the notes from that Fad Diet test. Didn't go well. But, so I have here some chicken thighs that I have just partly cooked. There's still a little bit of, see, they're not completely done. So I'm just going to take these and put them right back into the pan. I took them out because we are going to be making something else to go on top of these. So I'm putting these right back in the pan. I just turned the pan on a bit. So with this 3-day diet that I was on, the military diet, it says to eat reasonably the next 4 days because this is a week-long diet. So I said, okay, that's fine, I can do that. So I am making a healthy dish, reasonable, to go along with this diet. So I have these going on medium. I only did them about halfway done because I didn't want them to get overcooked. Because a lot of people, I've heard recently that people don't really like chicken because they say it's too dry. But no, I don't like chicken. It's too dry. It gets really dry. Chicken breast does. Chicken thighs do not. And if you do find your chicken breast getting a little bit dry, just add a touch of either water or chicken stock. I prefer chicken stock. Now, there's nothing in this pan because I had one chicken thigh that I chopped up. Where are we? There we go. And then there's some chicken broth in there. I took it out because I wanted to reuse the same fat that I used originally to make this healthier, so I'm not adding additional fat. I used half a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to talk to you guys about labels before because you really got to look at them because it says a lot more than just how many grams of something is in a product. Now, I used half a tablespoon of olive oil in the chicken and in the vegetables, which is one serving together. So you're already cutting the fat. Here, I sauteed up one onion. Well, actually, I'm sorry, half of a sweet Vidalia onion, which is basically like one small yellow onion. So they're kind of ratioed. One bell pepper that's yellow, and you do it in the longer strips, kind of like you would get something if you were getting like a stir fry at a restaurant. I did a couple tomatoes in there and some mushrooms, so I just kind of did that, and all that juice in there is just natural from them just rendering down the pan. So that's also a lot of flavor there. Only olive oil, salt, and pepper on each one of these dishes because we're going to be adding a lot of flavor to this. I'm making pesto for the first time. I'm so excited. So I wanted to make this to be like, this is a healthy meal. These are options. These are different things that you can do during the week that's easy. You can prep the veggies beforehand, add it all to the pan basically, and have a quick meal when you're dieting because the last thing you want to do is come home when you're already tired because you're depriving yourself of those calories that equal energy. And, you know, who wants to really just like, oh, I have to cook all this stuff and I'm already exhausted and I just want to order pizza and forget about it. No, make it easy. So I have this going. And when I was thinking about this, I was like, oh, I want a fresh herb to go along with it, you know, dress it up, give it some color, make it look pretty. Basil, perfect idea. All I could find in the store was this giant container of basil, 4 ounces, which is basically maybe like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times like the small little amount that I usually get. But I'm like, what am I going to do with all this? I'm like, oh, pesto, bingo. So I scratched like, you know, just the basil being a little garnish and some pop of color and flavor to a whole pesto because I got 2 cups worth of leaves. So this is going to be exciting. I've never made it. So this is one of those cooking blind recipes. Like if you remember, it was actually a year ago that I did latkes blind with just my godmother Mersh's recipe. So it was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen either, but I'm excited. So I have the chicken cooking a little bit more, and while that happens, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the diet. Yeah, I wrote some notes because it was pretty interesting. So I told you guys before I'm doing Fad Diet this couple months doing little pieces on them to see, are they working? Are they like, do they work? Are they real? Are they easy to maintain? Military diet, I have my notes. Not so easy at all. It was, oh man, it was interesting. So when I was doing this, I kind of thought about my day, like my normal day, like what I would have for breakfast, my normal lunch at work, and like what the calories were. Because this was basically breaking down calories before I heard that it was more about like what the food chemically did to you. So I wrote down my normal day is after like work, when I'm on my way to work, I have like a little snack at noon, and then I usually eat around 2 o'clock, 2:30. So that's my average day at work. And that is anywhere between, depending on if I add like a little sweet at the end of my lunch, anywhere from 720 calories to 900 calories. So a woman is supposed to have 2,000 calories average per day. This was not even close to that. So day one, okay, was toast with peanut butter. I had sun nut butter, so I chose that. A grapefruit and coffee. Lunch was half a cup of tuna, toast, tea, and then 4 ounces of beef, well, any meat for dinner. I had beef, so that's what I did. But I strained it, drained it, so it was, you know, I took a lot of that fat out of it. And green beans, kiwi, apple, and a cup of ice cream. Yay, who gets ice cream on a diet? Awesome. So that was day one. So I was like, all right, this is like totally going to be really, really easy for me. And I did it, and it was pretty good, like during like breakfast and stuff like that. Now, the reason why I stopped doing this before, see, this is burning, like not burning a little bit, but it's getting a little bit dark. So I have this here, so I'm just going to add a little bit to deglaze that. There we go. Perfect. Love it. So, and I turned down the heat. It was on medium. I'm just going to put it on low because, you know, I'm chatting with you guys. So, when I did it before, it was probably about 10 years ago. Maybe a little bit longer. I didn't know I was allergic to bananas then. So I had to substitute 1 banana is equal to 2 kiwis. And kiwis, by the way, are delicious. Why am I just finding this out? But I have a kiwi drink recipe coming up soon, so stay tuned for that because kiwis are like a new fave. So I was like, all right, well, I have to substitute this. Hopefully it works the same way it did. Now, breakfast. I had everything at the house besides a grapefruit. So the substitution list, like where I found the banana kiwi one, told me to substitute half a grapefruit for 2 tablespoons of baking soda and water. Seriously? Like I'm going to like stir up some baking soda and drink it to substitute a grapefruit? I'll pass. I put my daughter on the bus, came home, like, you know, grabbed like, you know, a bigger, you know, coat, stuff like that, grabbed my purse, and I went to the store, grabbed my grapefruit and came home. So I didn't eat it at exactly the same time that I had my toast and coffee with the sun nut butter. So I figured, all right, maybe that, you know, hopefully that's okay. Maybe not. We'll see. I just moved that off the heat for a second. So I'm like, all right, you know, we're going to see how this works. So my normal day, snack at noon. I didn't have that, so I ate my lunch at noon. No, I'm sorry, I didn't. No, I didn't. I ate the grapefruit at noon-ish because I had some other stuff to get at the store. So it was like 11:30-ish. Had the grapefruit. Then it was like 2 o'clock, my normal lunchtime, and I was getting hangry. Like I was like yelling at myself. Like not like belligerent, but pretty bad. So I was like, okay, I need to eat like at a reasonable time. So noon is going to be like my lunchtime these next couple days because I can't do what I normally did. If you're going to do this diet, you cannot go into your normal time habits because you're depriving yourself of your normal calories. Like, so basically my normal like breakfast and, you know, snack time and stuff like that was, so breakfast, 130 calories, like coffee and apple, you know, maybe, you know, a bar of some sort, but I didn't. And then, you know, my snack would be 140 calories. So that right there is 270, okay, by noontime. Breakfast, I'm not even getting close to that, you know, or I'm just like a little bit over that for breakfast, and that's just one. So that was 373 day one. And then lunch, 265 on this. My normal lunch, like I said, it's anywhere from between 500 and 700. So I'm way down calorie wise, and I think that's kind of why I was like a little testy. And then I had dinner and everything like that, and then I was like, all right, I'm fine. I drank a lot of water. I drank like 130 ounces or something like that. Like I just kept drinking and kept drinking. And I was like, all right, day 2 will be easier. I'm past the first day. I woke up on day 2 and I had the worst headache ever. I was just like, oh my God, like my body is like not liking this calorie depriving, thing. So even those calories were way down. So the first day, 1,389 calories. Lower than what a woman's supposed to have by probably like 3/4. Then day 2 was half of that, 1,700. And then day 3 was the same, basically 1,008 calories. So I was like really like at that halfway mark. So my outcomes, got on the scale day 1, and I knew I wasn't gonna lose much. I would probably like stay the same. But I was like I was good. I drank so much water, and I knew I was flushing out my system. And then I get on the scale. Guess what happened? I gained 4 pounds. Yeah. And I was so strict and so good. Day 2, and I was like, all right, this has to be better. I drank even more water that day, and I get on the scale. Same. Day 3, same. This does not work for me. And I learned a lot. I've been doing a lot of research, guys. So this is great. Like there's one piece that I'm going to tell you about. I could tell you so much today about like different calories and different ways to do things, and fat and saturated fat, and a big huge piece that I remembered that I did before. So I have so much planned for you. I'm so excited for this piece. So I just want to get really like back into my pesto chicken veggie dish here. So the chicken's pretty much pretty much cooked now. I can kind of see that is a little bit deeper in color, so we're good. And then pesto gets a bad rep because there's so much fat. People are like, oh, it's so fatty, it's oil and, nuts and blah, 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 blah. These are all good fats, though. Like, they are antioxidant fats, and they are good for you because I have here, so the oil. I was telling you about it a second ago. So if you can read this, it's probably backwards. But, so this here, calories, calories are all comparable here with the different types of chicken and stuff. So, fat. 14 grams in 1 tablespoon. So I've used 14 in this whole thing because I did half and half. And then I've been deglazing with not, anything else besides the cut up chicken thigh that I added a little bit of chicken broth to, but I still had this oil and I put all of that back in there. So I was reusing it, so I don't need any more. But 14, saturated fat is 2. So this pesto is going to have a half a cup of oil in it. Maybe less if I can manage it. I've never made it before. So that equals 112 grams of fat, but 2 saturated fats in this. So that's only 16. So that cuts it down huge. Now, the pine nuts that we're going to use, I have a 1/4 cup of pine nuts that we're going to use in this. That is 18 grams of fat. 3 saturated fats. So like this is like, you really need to know what your body does. My body doesn't do good with less calories. It just doesn't. And then the Parmesan cheese, 7 grams of fat, 5 saturated fat. But that's if you are going to eat all of this. I might be able to, but I'm not going to. And hopefully you won't either. It's going to be moderation over the next couple of days. You can use it to, spice up some dishes. And of course, you can do it in a regular pasta dish. But I'm going to do it with chicken tonight because I'm cutting out, those starches. So I really want to just get started because I'm really, really excited to try this because I've never done it before. So I have my food processor. I'm going to pull that a little bit closer. I'm going to just take the rest of this and put it into the chicken, and then I've turned it all the way down low here because I do want this to be warm when I add, yeah, that looks great, when I add the pesto. And I'm also going to move the camera a bit so you can see what I'm going to be doing. All right. Okay, so I'm going to pull this here. I'm sorry for the wiggles. How's that? Good? Looks good to me. All right, here we go. So I have my food processor. I am going to start with 2 cups of basil. And these are, I took all the stems off and they're just the leaves. So this is just going to go in there. Okay. And now I have a 1/4 cup of pine nuts. And I toasted these before I put them in. I think the flavor's a little bit better. It kind of releases some of those oils, so you're really going to get that full flavor. Now, please stay in your kitchen. Please stay at the stove when you're doing this, because if you slightly burn one of these at all, game over. You got to start all over. You got to clean the pan and everything else, because it's going to leave you like that nasty, nasty burnt smell. So you can see these here. They're so lightly toasted. As soon as I saw them get toasted, I took them directly off the heat. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with these? I can't put them in this plastic like right off the bat, because like they're so hot. And it was just a pan without anything in it. It's just a plain pan over medium heat. I threw them in this mesh colander because it's going to air them out. It's not going to be sitting there. They're not going to get, you know, any of that condensation on there, and they're going to stay nice and, you know, crispy. So these are also going to go in. Now, you're adding these 2 things because they need to get the most chopped up, because they're whole. Everything else, the Parmesan cheese and the garlic, is already grated for you and already chopped. So these are gonna start, so I apologize for the noise. I'm just gonna get this going. And you're just gonna pulse it a few times to start, because I wanna see what it does. All right. So, all right, it's getting there. So I kind of know what it's doing, so I can let it go for a bit. So it kind of looks grainy. Like I told you, this is a blind recipe. I've never done this before. So it's kind of grainy. So you can see that it's, you know, it is, can we see that? It is kind of getting chopped up a bit. But, of course, it's going to need a little bit more, but it looks pretty good. I'm just going to do it for a few more seconds. That looks good for me. Now, I have a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna throw that in there. And I have 4 cloves of garlic, just chopped, because these are going to get more chopped up in here, obviously. All right, so now these are the last solid ingredients here. All right. See what this looks like. This looks really good. I'm just gonna push this down a bit. Oh yeah, this looks great, and it already smells great. Yum yum. I love pesto. It's just so fresh and just delicious. So green and delish. If you guys have been following me for a while, over the summer I made a basil pesto for my friend Merce. She has food allergies and she can't do, you know, certain things, but she can definitely do most of the ingredients that are in this besides the cheese. And I did basil, and then this is basil like in a classic pesto. I changed that to parsley for her, so it came out amazing. So I did a chicken and vegetable dish with that as well, but that was all raw and then put into the oven, and it came out so good. So hopefully this is going to mimic that. All right, I'm just going to go for a few more seconds. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on low, and I am going to add the oil. Also, before I do that, I want to add just about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. So it's about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and maybe a tiny bit less. I mean, it's going to be like spicy anyways because you have that garlic in there giving it the spice, so just under a 1/4. All right, so quick. All right, so now I'm going to put it on low and slowly add this. All right, this is where the magic happens, peeps. so that was the 1/4 of a cup. And I really do think that I am going to need the full, oh, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I'll just make it traditionally. I'm just going to put the full amount in there. Like, like I said, we're not eating the whole thing. See, this took no time whatsoever. Oh, this looks really good. Yeah, this took basically no time whatsoever, and it looks phenomenal. Oh, this looks so good. Guys, I am pumped. Surprisingly, so easy. So look at that. That's homemade pesto. So simple, so easy. Look at it. Now, I need to try to make sure, I have to try to make sure that it doesn't need anything else. So I'm just going to take a bit, put it in here, have another spoon, and I'm just going to try it. See if we need to add salt, pepper, or anything else. Honestly, just a little bit of salt and pepper, I think. But this is really, really good. This chicken's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to put that back on and just probably just add a teeny bit more of that pepper to make it that full 1/4. And then I'm just going to do another 1/4 to make a teaspoon, I'm sorry, half a teaspoon of salt. And then I think it should be fine. Oh. Guess what? Throw out the blade. That's not gonna work. See? I told you guys, I'm a real cook. Stuff happens. I'm like, what's going on? That sounds wrong. Alright, take 2. Have that original testing spoon here. That's what I've been doing lately because I noticed when I'm tasting food, I would go through like 12 spoons. So I've just been using 1 spoon to take it out and then another spoon and a little bowl to taste with. I'm saving so many dishes. Yeah. That's all it really needed. Just that little pizzazz. I think next time I do this, I'll probably add maybe a little bit of acid, probably lemon juice. I know that those are in some recipes. I just didn't happen to have any today, so didn't use any. But, so it is what it is. So we should be good to go. I'm going to put this back up here. Now, I have some cups because we're just going to measure this. And then after this recipe, what I can do is I'll be able to break down the fat, saturated fat, and calories so we can actually see kind of what it does. All right. So to make this nice and quick and easy, we are going to do just start with 2 tablespoons of the pesto we just made. And we're just going to start mixing that up. You know, there's 4 of these chicken thighs, so maybe 4 if each person gets a tablespoon, and then that will kind of like let us know, but you know. So chicken thighs and chicken breasts I talked about a little bit in the beginning. So now chicken breasts are technically healthier because this is dark meat, there's more fat. Now chicken breasts, light meat, drier, easier because there's less fat and less grease in that area. So, oh, this looks awesome. I'm so excited. And then I'm just gonna do a tad more just on the top of each one. So these chicken thighs are basically about the size of 1 chicken breast. So I'm saying it's kind of comparable. So there are 5 grams of fat per chicken breast, 10 grams of fat per chicken thigh. But these are half the size of a breast. So, you know, I'm sure we should do it by weight, but hey. Look at this. Look how yummy that looks. And the flavor is out of this world, guys. So this here is definitely like a healthier dinner than just getting something with a bunch of preservatives in it off the shelf. And it's pretty much all natural. Plus you have a bunch of homemade pesto for later on in the week. And so just gonna, with the vegetables, you can just grab some, put them in. They're still gonna have their juices, which is gonna be great to just kind of toss in here. Or you could even take the vegetables and plate them below and put the chicken on top, because that would probably be pretty good too. So we can plate this any way we want it. I'm just going to mix it up first because I'm sure these veggies are going to be bomb with this. I'm showing my age, I'm saying bomb. Anyways, there we go. Excellent. Excellent. So I'll plate these up and I'll show you guys a little bit later. It's great. Really good. And then one little tip, it's so fun when I tell someone about the cookbook. Even before, when I was telling people, I only told people in person. Like I didn't want to tell somebody over the phone or via text. I wanted to kind of see their reaction. So I call someone and be like, hey, how's it going? Want to hang out? Like, what are you doing like this weekend? Or you want to go to the beach or something like that, so I could tell them. And if there was like a lot of people around, I did not. It was just a one-on-one thing with, you know, just the people that I wanted to tell. But whenever I do tell somebody, they're like, oh, really? I have a really great recipe. And then they start telling me about their family recipes, and I love it because they're excited about the book, but then they're like, okay, I want to tell you about me, which I love. And people have been coming up to me with tips and techniques and different things that they do, and I love it. So one technique that my best friend Ashley told me today, and I tried it, and it worked. If you do not want to cry when you're chopping up an onion like I did today, run it under cold water first. So I did that and I just started chopping it up and it worked. My eyes felt a bit stingy, but not like maybe you just had to rub them a bit. I didn't, but I felt that like little sting feeling. So, but I didn't cry or anything like that. So that is a great tip. So Ashley Adams, thank you for your tip. You're the best. So run your onion under cold water first and then chop it. Shouldn't have any tears. I've heard a bunch of different things like light a candle, bite a wooden spoon. This one works though. So I'm so excited. So I will be trying another fad diet next week. This one was like a 3-day diet, but the week is where you lose weight. And I've heard of other ones that you do have to like have a normal diet through the rest of the week to actually lose, because you cut them down, then you put the fat back in, and then it breaks that fat down quicker. So, you know, that could be what's happening here, but I really don't think so. I don't think this 3-day military diet is all it's cracked up to be. So one other thing that I wanted to leave you with is thank you all for your support with my book, because it is sold out right now on Amazon. I am like overjoyed. Good news and good news. Sold out, good news for me. I bought extra copies from my publisher, so good news for you. So if you still, you know, of course you still want the book. Just you know, personal message me and let me know if, you know, what you're interested in. There's hard copy and soft copy. So let me know what you would like. And I have a business Venmo, Kiki's Cape Cod Kitchen Incorporated. So you'll see that, and then we can, you know, kind of work everything out if you want it shipped or if you just want to wait until the book signing. So thank you all so much. You know, just kind of reach out to me if you still want to purchase the book, which I'm sure you do. So don't wait for, you know, Amazon. Just come right to me. And we can, you know, work everything out, and I can even maybe give you free shipping too if you ask nicely. All right, guys, this is Kiki signing out for tonight. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.